All right, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Simple Life Philosophy. It is, this guy was just speeding up to close me off. It's so funny. Um, it is Monday, November 17th. Driving sometimes and doing this is, dude, I'm always paying attention. It might not look like it, but I'm always trying to pay attention, understand where the cars are around me. I think if you're driving, you got to look at your mirrors. You got to be looking at your mirrors. And it becomes second nature after a while. But yeah, I have to say so. I'm a pretty good driver. Anyway, welcome to another week, another episode. I'm still doing this. Can't believe it. We're going to continue making episodes, and I'm going to continue trying to develop myself, continue trying to get better, continue trying to hold myself accountable and inspire myself to get better and hopefully inspire others and try to serve and, fulfill my purpose on this planet. There's so much chaos out there. It's hard to stay centered. And something I kind of realized yesterday, and I was just kind of doing some reading and listening to a podcast, and it really just kind of resonated with me. Is just how and I'm sure you've heard this before, but how we're all energy, right? We're all energy. We're all just a ball of energy. And then I started going down the kind of thinking, if we're all energy, like what is this being? Like maybe, I know this is going to get a little kind of crazy, but like maybe our consciousness is just this like cloud of energy that moves around, and then we get into this vessel, this animal vessel, which is the human body that can really express clouds of energy, express consciousness, and at just a different level. And that's our energy. I mean, we're not just our bodies. Our body also radiates in energy. And I've seen Joe Dispenza talk about this and others, that our body also has, just like the planet has a magnetic field, our bodies have a magnetic field around us. And it's almost as if, how do I put it? Like you have this bubble, you have this energy bubble around your body, right? And it's this permeable bubble, so things can go in and out. But depending on your awareness, depending on your level of consciousness, you get to pick and choose what comes in, what comes out of this energy bubble. What you receive and what you output is all up to you. For example, let's say you walk into a room and someone is really upset at you, and let's just, for in this example, that they're upset, maybe for not even anything that you did. It's you're innocent. So you have a right to be upset at them for being upset at you in a way, right? Well, this energy bubble, a lot of times I think what happens is you let that negativity, you let that anger permeate your little energy bubble and get inside you. And then now that message is received and you mirror that. And now you're angry. And then now you fight back, you get defensive, you know. Whereas I think that if you're kind of high level conscious, you've really developed spiritually, you understand this concept. And, I'm sure I'm not getting it perfect, right? But you have the opportunity to really block that message and be like, I'm not trying to be angry right now. Like, there's not, like, my day is going great. I'm having a great day. Like, all right, let me just sit back and listen to this angry person, and then, respond in a calm, you know, joyful, playful manner, or whatever, suits your personality, and kind of see where it goes from there. And I think that a lot of people maybe shrink that energy bubble, and they allow others to disturb it. They allow others to manipulate it. They allow others to kind of dictate the mood and the focus and the intention that you have in your life. Whereas if you really try to expand that bubble and you try to kind of visualize this bubble around your body, almost like a little light that that helps you block out what you want to block out. Maybe you want to get angry. I don't know, but obviously, I don't think that helps anyone a lot of times. Um, if someone really did something wrong, I think unfortunately some people you have to crack the whip. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. It's like a child just behaving ridiculous and maybe bullying someone or whatever. You got to crack the whip on it. You can't let that behavior continue. And a lot of times, sitting down and talking to a child like that is not conducive of adjusting that behavior. It's maybe some kids can respond to that. That's a whole different subject. But I guess the whole point of it is to kind of and man, I'm destroying this. I probably should write on it a little bit, but is to visualize this bubble around you, and really to kind of empower yourself. Empower the bubble, empower the energy bubble around you, so that you can dictate a little bit more about what comes in, what comes out, and how you respond to just kind of everything coming at us on a daily basis. Because every single moment, every single day, we're receiving messages. Whether even if you're sitting in a quiet room, quiet dark room, you're still receiving messages now. Now you at least sitting in that quiet dark room, I think you have at least kind of minimized the amount of messages you're receiving, which is I think a really positive and good thing to do occasionally. It's just kind of like maybe driving without the radio, without the radio on or anything. It's like sometimes you just gotta have to like quiet down the senses. And then maybe empower that bubble a little bit, because if you're just constantly receiving messages all day, constantly receiving words, constantly receiving frequencies, you don't get to dictate any of your energy. You're basically receiving all day, and that's dictating your energy. That's dictating your thoughts. That's dictating your behavior and decisions in a lot of ways. And I think that empowering that bubble, empowering that light that's inside you, so that you can make decisions, that empowers your discernment abilities, that empowers you as a person, and gives you energy to focus and bring attention to the things you want to bring attention to. So that's kind of my thoughts. Curious what everyone thinks. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there today. It's happy Monday to you guys. To anyone listening, many blessings, much love. Man, there's so much traffic out right now, so I probably should get to focusing. But peace out, much love to you.